For as long as I am First Minister, and by the way, Conference, I intend that to be for quite some time yet.
Not even 4 months later, she's gone, after nearly a decade striving to realise the ambition that first drew her to nationalist politics as a teenager. Nicola Sturgeon became First Minister in 2014, before Rishi Sunak or Sir Keir Starmer were even MPs.
To become the leader of the party that I joined as a teenager is the biggest privilege of my life.
A year after she became leader, the SNP secured an unprecedented landslide, winning 56 of Scotland's 59 Westminster seats. She won again in Holyrood the next year, and again 5 years later. As she cemented her reputation as a winner, prime ministers came and went. She found her meetings with Theresa May soul-destroying, though they found common ground on women's rights. Liz Truss bragged she'd ignore Sturgeon. Her successor at least found time to meet the Scottish leader.
His immediate predecessor I didn't even get the opportunity to speak to. But, I worked with David Cameron, Theresa May, perhaps to a lesser extent Boris Johnson, but with all of them there was the ability to engage and to at least have a conversation.
And while the pandemic ensnared Boris Johnson, Sturgeon masked up and fronted daily briefings. Her discipline was rewarded and her popularity soared. She made clear, doing things differently from the rest of the UK.
I have asked the UK government not to deploy their Stay Alert advertising campaign in Scotland.
Even COVID a chance to burnish her lifelong commitment to the cause of an independent Scotland. And it was that dominated her 8 years as First Minister. Policies on education, health and drugs sacrificed, her critics said, on the altar of independence. For her most ardent supporters, the promise of a second referendum was always a promise deferred.
The option of a second referendum must be on the table. There will be an independence referendum. We will introduce legislation for a referendum. If the court decides in the way we hope it does, on 19th October next year, there will be an independence referendum.
The Supreme Court said no.
But if a referendum is blocked, there has to be another way for the Scottish people to have their say.
Her predecessor as First Minister, Alex Salmond, said it was a bad gamble, and the gender recognition reforms that followed a distraction from the independence prize. A brutal rebuff from the man who more than 2 decades previously had nurtured and mentored his young protégé.
Yes, I probably just for a minute or two, and then I'll let you take over.
His failure to win independence at the first time of asking saw her succeed him as leader.
I am not Alex Salmond. His are big boots to fill, but if given the opportunity to lead, I will wear my own shoes and they will have higher heels.
That promise she did manage to keep. And when she went on to support the women who accused Salmond of sexual assault, he was later acquitted. The rift between the erstwhile political soulmates proved terminal.
Being your First Minister has been the privilege of my life. Nothing, absolutely nothing I do in future will ever come anywhere close.
Nicola Sturgeon became one of the most powerful politicians in the world, an election-winning machine, at times seemingly invincible. So dominant, in fact, that it's hard to see any of her colleagues, male or female, wearing those heels. And whether in boots or stilettos, the march to independence just got longer.
Thank you from the very bottom of my heart.
Well, our Scotland correspondent Kieran Jenkins is with me. So, is independence helped or hindered?
Well, there was this decision coming down the line soon the SNP have to make about whether to treat the next general election as a de facto referendum on independence. And there was disquiet about that in some quarters of the party. Now, this gives the SNP the opportunity to change their mind if they wish. There are people who are saying that's a tactical error. We do not want to be doing that. But then you have to ask yourselves, what's the alternative? Do we go on trying to win over public opinion, that decisive shift in public opinion? And those waiting in the wings may well be thinking, you know, you have this politician today who's quit on her own terms after prolonged electoral success with plaudits pouring in from all over the world. If she can't deliver that, can we?
Right, now no one's declaring yet, or even saying who they're backing, but who are the names we've got to look up?
Well, this is a really wide open field, you know, and there is a suggestion within SNP ranks, some people, that they might want to go for the next generation. You've got Kate Forbes, who's the Finance Secretary, not yet a household name across the UK, but very much admired by some within the party here, others saying that, you know, they have concerns about it. There's Angus Robertson, you know, formerly a high-profile figure in Westminster, is currently the Constitutional Secretary. You've got Hamza Yousaf, the Health Secretary. So there are names out there, but all of those people will be looking and saying, if Nicola Sturgeon thought that she had this great hand, then surely she would have played it.
Kieran Jenkins, thank you.